Let's go to Michelle on the road somewhere. You're on Free Talk Live, Michelle.
Hi, Ian and Mark. How are you?
Oh, it's Michelle 7. Hey, and Johnny Ray's with us here tonight.
Oh, hey, Johnny.
Hey, Michelle.
What's a former co-host of Free Talk Live? So what's going on, Michelle? What's the latest?
Well, I just got out of court. First time in New Jersey that I was in court. I had to drive about an hour and 45 minutes to get to where I was summoned for a speeding ticket.
Okay.
And then I had to wait 2 hours until I could then tell the prosecutor that, no, I was not going to enter a plea deal, even though I had already specified that back when I had to submit a letter saying not guilty, or that I was pleading not guilty. And they weren't ready to try it, and given the late hour, because it's 9:30, and it was 9 o'clock at the time.
Hold on. You went to court at 9 o'clock at night?
They have it starting at 6 in the evening, because that's when the lawyers are, I guess, available. So, yeah,
Wow.
6 o'clock. Yeah, I know. So, for traffic court. And, yeah.
Wait a minute. No, we had somebody else call in the past who, I think it was actually Tony Bones, one of the activists in Missouri, and she had like an evening court too. And I forget what the reason for it was. It was almost like it felt to me like they've just got so many damn cases of people with tickets that they need to schedule them later. But I forget what the reason was. Anyway.
Well, I would not be surprised. New Jersey is just the biggest revenue generating monster that I've seen thus far. And as I watched, there were about 30 people in the courtroom, and I got there, but I went last, so I got to hear one right after the other plead guilty. Yes, and the most heinous one was a mom, and it was really sad. She was given a ticket for not having her 8-year-old child properly seatbelted. And she got a child endangerment ticket, or whatever along with that.
That one always interests me, because Michelle, you and I remember what it was like. I don't know what it was like for Ian, but
I drove on the hood of the car.
Right. My mom's Buick Century wagon, I would climb all over that. I'd play Star Wars figures in the very back. I'd sit in the back sometimes when I wanted to read. I'd sit in front when I wanted to play with the radio station, AM. And these are my memories of this car. That, and it was painted racing beige.
Well, then you also piled as many people as you needed to travel from one place to the other into the vehicle, even if it meant there were 10 of you in a car fit for 5.
Yeah.
And yeah, so in any case, this woman, she had 2 babies though, and they were in their car seats. And the judge said, what kind of a mother are you? And she says, well, my ex-husband did not drop off the lap seat, and I had to get the kids to school. And he said, well, you endangered your child. And she said, okay, well, I'm guilty no matter what, because if I hadn't got the kids to school, then I'd be guilty of
truancy or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly, being a lousy parent. And that one really broke my heart, because you could see that this woman she's just kind of doing the best she can to make ends meet.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you know if the kid was buckled in? Do you know if the kid was buckled in, but just didn't have the little phone book underneath his butt, or what was it?
Correct. Buckled in, but did not have the
ridiculous
approved thing. Right. So she got $800 in fines total. Like her entire
Holy
grocery.
mackerel.
Yeah. So now this woman is so the state did something even worse to her than anything that she was potentially doing in her own vehicle with her own children. She was not, causing anyone else a problem, what have you. But so that was $800, and then there was another.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's going to help her buy a new car seat. giving the state $800.
Also, these rules tend to be based on the child's age or weight. And this older child, I wonder how they ascertained. Did the officer have a scale? Were they able to, I don't know, cut the child in half and count the rings?
No, they probably asked them all.
No, they asked people to testify against themselves, which I find to be sort of reprehensible, especially if you're getting a child to testify against their parent.
Well, there were of the $3,000 in fines that were collected in the 2 hours where people were, saying guilty. Most of them were improper cell phone use.
Oh wow. Yeah, we're going to start seeing that in New Hampshire, unfortunately. That's one of the examples of the bad bills that passed in the last year. It's certainly not a utopia up here for freedom lovers yet. There's a lot that we need to work on. And, Michelle, you drove an hour and 45 minutes just to go to an arraignment tonight?
Yeah. Well, no, I was supposed to be able to have my case heard. But
you thought it was a full trial?
Well, yeah, because they didn't expect they've never had anyone plead not guilty. They said to a traffic violation. They didn't know what to do. The lawyer for the state, the prosecutor, wasn't prepared. So I said, well, then you should dismiss it. I don't have that option of showing up and saying I'm not prepared and having you, postpone it for me or whatever. So that was, I got to tell everyone about jury nullification, everyone about not taking a plea deal. So I'm going to make them pay for my time in providing a soapbox for me to educate people, and I'm pissed, and that's what I'm going to do. But you said, Ian, that this legislation that passed. So Mark going and voting, which he tweeted to me today that he went and voted, that didn't make a difference.
I don't think it made much of a difference. No, I suspect there's no. I don't suspect anybody won by one vote. I'm looking at the totals here. I don't think, besides myself, I don't think anybody won that I voted for. And I likely would have won if I hadn't have gone and voted for myself.
And what you voted for yourself on was this thing called a delegate. It's not like an actual political office. It's something within the Republican Party.
Well, let's consider that this is a primary election, so nobody won a political office today.
Good point. That's a good point. There may be some people who've technically kind of won because they may go on to an uncontested election.
There's still a write-in possibility.
Very unlikely, but yes.
It's unlikely.
Yeah.
Yep. You voted for voting today, and voting won.
Voting always wins.
I didn't vote for voting, though, because what does voting even mean? In this case, this wasn't a government election. This was a club holding a...
run by the government. The election's run by the government.
Indeed, it is. It
on behalf of the club.
A club that has welfare given to it.
Hey, Michelle. Wait, I got a question for Michelle. Michelle, did I see you on Twitter talking to the 38th director of the U.S. Mint about Bitcoin?
I'm so pissed. I was supposed to be at his book signing this evening down in Washington, D.C., but they wouldn't give me a postponement for my arraignment. So, yes, Edmund Moy and I, we're fast friends and buddies now.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.